when you're thinking about this, I'm just hitting nerves and throwing things out, throwing ideas out, trying to open up different ways of looking at this, more than I'm trying to define it. But as the week goes by, you reflect on this, you'll be thinking something, you may make some other associations that are better than mine. But this will guide you through a way of building these structures up. And suddenly you're looking at the sun in a way you never did before, and looking at your life in another way you did before. And then you see where you are and where you could be. And then you got the credibility gap of how much can I live up to? How can I be a son? You know, like, oh, there's all kinds of songs that are built up and building up the ego. I'm going to be a wheelchair, well, someday I'm going to be somebody, all these type of things. And that's your son calling. Hey, mom, look at me. Hey, honey, aren't I the greatest? You know, but when someone's not confident, and they have their sun in these elements and it's not showing, then you see the work is to get them to be confident about these very things, even if they had negative experiences around it. They'll grow through that. That's fertilizer, that's fuel. So these are the signs that will project their attitude. When you get to the feminine signs, these are the signs that are going to pick up that attitude and reflect on it and measure it and judge other people, whether they're reinforcing it or not. And they're going to be taking things in more than they're projecting out. To Taurus, Sun in Taurus. They're measuring how comfortable something, how nice something is, and they're measuring how good it is. And as long as it's getting better, it's good. But as soon as it starts getting worse, they start getting more and more comfortable. Can't go that way, can't go that way. They have strong tastes around they're measuring, they're judging, they're reflecting on what's comfortable and what's not, what's likable and what's not, what's desirous, what's not. So life will throw both things at you every day. And you're sifting through what you've got and why you have your style or your way of doing things, your way of wanting things, but it's measuring it. When a Taurus doesn't get one, if you're really nice to a Taurus, you've spoiled your Taurus kid, you're really nice to them, then they start going out and nobody's spoiling them, they're going to have a hard time meeting other people. If you don't spoil them, they're going to give you a hard time because they'll scream if they can't get their dessert first when they're a kid. So you end up giving them the dessert first just to shut them up, and they get spoiled. And they expect that charm to build it up. So they'll work through that type of charm to get that attention, to get what they want. If something's good or likable, they're going to push for it. But something that's not likable, or if there's two kids and one of the kids, you know the Taurus is going to be measuring who gets what dessert. And if they're both the same, or if one gets one more than the other, they're going to, this is a reflective, this is a measuring quality of the Taurus sun. It just gets refined, not always. If you had some alcohol and stuff to it, you can get some really blatantly gross old Taurians just having their taste and their food, and they're sitting there in an inert state, so they get the negative accumulation or reflection. But they're still very opinionated when they don't get what they want. Money, things, comfort, style, appreciation. If you don't like a Taurus, what's wrong with you? If you don't like flowers in the springtime, what's wrong with you? But if you don't, because they're taking attention away from you, which other signs could feel, the Taurus is going to feel threatened, and then they'll blatantly act it out. But it's caused by this reflection, this measurement. Cancer too. They're reflecting on their home and their security and their sensitivity, and they're pushing for it, but they're measuring if you're sensitive to them or not. You know, and if you're making them feel secure, if you're not making them secure, if you're being, I mean, it's funny, Cancers can, when they're confident, they can be the biggest jokesters, but often they can't take jokes. They take them too personally and they overreact. So then they start pushing on that negative or reflective experience and magnifying it. You know, and then it becomes festered in their memories and it becomes bigger complex, but it's a really, they're capable of seeing just what needs to be done and know how to go at it. But they're really sensitive to people around them who's give them the good feedback and who's not, so they appear shy. Virgos too appear shy, but that's because they're analyzing in their mind. They're reflecting mentally. So, and here's the right way to do things. Why would anyone do it differently? Why would someone criticize what I'm doing? What's going on? So they have this judgmental measurement, which is a reflective quality. But being able to take in and judge, it's a little more independently expressed in Aries, Cancer, and Virgo. It's a little more socially measured and reacted to in the fall and winter signs, in the social signs. So Scorpios can judge someone that's not fair, someone's not fair, and they'll hold it in, and they'll hold that grudge, and they can hold that thing in forever. And then their struggle becomes how to get rid of the old judgments so you can get on with your life, how to forgive. Capricorns be trying so hard to accomplish things, to get respect, and they're measuring whether you're respecting their efforts or not. But the minute you put out humor or laugh at them, they're going to be super sensitive. They're at least trying. Why should you laugh at them? And the more they're trying, the more a Leo or a Cancer might laugh at them. Oh boy, so it creates a certain style. You get 12 kids sitting in a daycare center. You can see these things acted out blatantly. Well, you can see it at any age, but we don't usually, because we're more interactive with it. We like some signs, we don't like other signs. We start polarizing how our preferences are. But the Capricorn is measuring. It's measuring status, respect. Don't make my life more difficult. Be sensitive. I'm making an effort. If I'm going to make the effort, don't make a joke of it. But it is reflecting and judging whether you respect the person or not, whether you're listening. And the Pisces too is reflective. They're sensitive to how anybody could get in any story, could get caught up in anyone can have any kind of life, and so many different things can happen. How you can choose which happens to you, but they can be very sensitive to who's right and who's wrong in situations. And they're very judgmental, but they don't always live up to that judgment. They can sense it, they see it, they're very perceptive, and they're trying to measure which way should I do it? What's the right way? So all of these have different styles of reflection, but they're all reflecting. And the confidence will come from making good reflections, but not necessarily being arrogant from reflecting, being able to find how to love and get past the negative judgment. So again, we did this with the winter signs. We went through these before. These slides are just out of order. But the winter is the Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. They're sensitive. They need respect. They need to be listened to. But there's so many choices. Which one do I do? They don't want to. They're not going to be blatant like the spring and summer signs. They're just going to make small steps towards how they get their own way. But they're still moving to get their own way. And then you have the Aries, Taurus, Gemini, daylight increasing, daylight is greater. And it says 2 projecting, 1 reflecting. But this is springtime. It's just the passion impulse of spring. Go for it. Do it. See what happens. Make it happen. See what comes out of it. That's I need. Don't hold me back. And then the Cancer, Leo, Virgo will want to do their own thing, but they want to make it more comfortable. They want to make it a little more fun or showy. They want to do things a little bit better so they're not wasting so much time. So they have that increasing nighttime, the beginnings of commitments and responsibilities and sensitivities coming into their life. But still, they're not followers. They want to be involved, but on their terms. When you get the fall and winter, you have people who are sensitive. Nighttime's increasing. They want to be involved. They're responsible. They're sensitive, and they want to be more sensitive. They're moving towards a team. They meet you. They want. What can we do together? What can we? They're the really we us signs, and the responsibilities around building up a we us temple. Of being in relationships, it's important to be with each other. If 2 people are in a relationship, one person's trying to share and do things, the other person's just blatantly doing their own thing and never thinking what the other person's doing, it's going to be a lot of stress in that relationship. Still a relationship, it still could be worked, but one would have to overcome the opposing tendencies or channel them in a way that works. So, okay, you have the projective and the reflective. And in the 4 seasons now, the first sign of each season is the cardinal. They don't get along with each other because they're all square and opposed to each other, but there's 4 types of driving energy. The driving cardinal cross, pushing to make things. It's not just force like Mars, but it's a general ambition and drive to make something happen, to change things, to make it go my way, make it go your way, to do things. They're going to tackle problems, they're not going to wait on them, they're not going to adjust to them, they're going to try and solve them. So they're on top of things, pushing things. That pushiness to other signs makes them seem too pushy. To them, it would make other people seem like they're too slow or too scattered and they never do anything. So as you see, I'm going over the same things, the same sign characters. I'm just trying to relate a little bit back and forth to the sun each time to what's going to get your confidence. We're learning the zodiac better, but we're seeing how it applies to each planet uniquely. And we're growing in our awareness of what the moon would be, what memories are, what thinking is, Mercury, what choices and values are, how our magnetism works in Venus, and now how we find our confidence. And I mean, life gets complicated. We can find confidence in putting down people in a very negative way, but it's not going to be a confidence that helps our heart or makes us proud or more noble. So the loving heart is the most healing thing there is. And as we move away from it, we move away from healing life. Some people think you never can move, don't even believe you can move towards it. That's their ignorance. And sometimes you have to be sick before you learn things. But the confidence, anyone trying to get confidence at what age, if it's in a cardinal sign, they got to be challenged. They're going to push things. So if you don't give them challenges to push to prove, it's not going to work. You got to, if anyone's the sun in the cardinal sign, even those 4 different styles of it, they're all, go take the garbage out, go clean up, go do this. They may complain, they'll still go do it. I have to do this. They want to get it over with. They want to get it done. And now sometimes they might want to get done only their thing and they don't want to do your thing. But there's a power point in each of these. And these are the driving signs where willpower is generated. So if the sun's there, they're generating willpower to go in the direction they want to go in. So for Aries, it's I'm me, I'm trying to be more me, get out of my way. I got to go do this. I got to get this car. I got to ride that race. I got to push to do things, and everything else is going to be compromised to that. So if you're with an Aries that's going to do that, run that race, you're going to have to either align with them, reinforce them, or back off. You can't get in their way of it. Of course, if the Aries is driving to do you, and you may or may not want to be done, then you have the battle to fight out. But one thing about the heart and about the soul, to bring out the better qualities, you have to be honest. You have to be true. And if you get ignoble or you do shameful things or difficult things, they accumulate and they really block off your ability to love by your own judgments, by your own punishments, self-inflicted. You attract failures that you're pushing until you learn to refine your energies and evolve the sign. We're always evolving the quality of the sign to get the better quality rather than the stronger quantity. So with the Aries, it's just directly independent impulse. I'll take it to do it. No, I'm not. I can't do it. To burn, they'll crash. They'll burn, they'll crash. But whenever they do something, they're burning. And if it's noble and it takes on things, it's courageous, wow, it's going to shine. They'll do things nobody else would do. Wow, they fixed that. You went and did that. Oh, my goodness. But as soon as they have to, or someone tells them they have to, I don't want to do that. They'll be fighting it. The Cancer, they drive. I got to have a home. I got to be a mother. I got to. You have the drive to have that sense. I got to be secure. They're going to use their sensitivities about maintaining their security, but they're going to drive to get it. They're going to push to have it, and once they have their home, or if you marry a Cancer, you're marrying their mom. Why? Because they're pushing their family, their security, their home, and you're coming into it. They're not coming into yours. You're coming into their home world. If it works well, that's fine. It works well. If it works difficultly, then you got the mother-in-law from hell. Whew. That can be male or female. Like, it doesn't matter. These are things that happens to individuals. And the Libra pushing and driving for partnership and relationship. Hi, how you like me? What are you doing? Where are we going? Well, let's do something tomorrow. Let's do something next week. They're trying to think of the things we can do to share. They're pushing for the relationship. Not to do it. They can be indecisive about doing things themselves, but they're still. But when it's for a relationship, they're going to be very dynamic and pushing to talk, to impress, to share. All of these factors will be there. So the seemingly indecisive Libras are in fact pushing their ideas. They get married, they're going to push the idea on the partner. We got to do this. We got to. They're thinking about everything, and it's sweetly, but it still can be kind. It's not exactly bossy like Capricorn. But if you're married to a Libra and they're planning everything, and you want to do something on your own, that's going to be harder to justify. Capricorn, the last of the cardinal, that's the practical, cold, strategic. They plan, they use things, they're practical. They're going to be at odds with the driving Cancer because they're not going to show sympathy. They're just going to do what discipline necessary. They're going to have their defenses. They're going to approach things. But the inhibition is pushing to be ambitious. They want to achieve something, and they'll put up with stuff, and they'll take their time so long as they can see that they're going to be the boss at one point or accomplish things at one point. But they don't have the reflective, sensitive quality of the Cancer, who would take offense at. They would think Capricorns are too tough. Capricorns would think that the Cancers are too moody, too high maintenance, and Capricorns are following the rules and following a pattern, and Aries are trying to break the rules, so they're fighting each other that way. And Libras are trying to make it nice and make it pleasant, not just harsh. But so they run into each other. But these are all the driving suns. They got something to prove. They have the dynamic willpower. They have to use it to see what they can do. And if you can guide them to try and build up the qualities that they need from these signs and build up experiences that reinforce that, you'll be bringing them up properly or educating them properly.